welcome Steve Wyse, and he will be our musician and our speaker today. Welcome, Steve.
Thank you. That's Steve Wyse, sometimes otherwise. My spiritual practice is a trinity that I've kind of developed. It's based in unity, church teachings, and Zen Buddhism, and indigenous Native American practice. And I'm going to be focusing on the Native American side today. When I first started the indigenous practice, I would occasionally hear some rumblings in the background of, oh, he's an Indian wannabe, right? And I thought about that a lot. I'm really glad I heard that because it really forced me to take a look at that. And this song is kind of my answer to that idea. Hope my fingers aren't too stiff. Forgive me if I miss some notes. I'll do my best. Looking at me, it's plain to see where my family came from. A land far away across the sea. And yes, I am my father's son, but there's more to who I am. See what you want to see, an Indian wannabe. I wanna be brave, I wanna be strong, wanna learn wrong from right. I wanna pray in a way that honors all life. I wanna learn from the eagle high up in the sky to be a better me. That's what I want to be. I want to sit down with my elders and learn about their life. I want to learn to be one with the earth. I want to learn from the eagle high up in the sky to be a better me. That's what I want to be. I want to be brave, I want to be strong. Wanna learn wrong from right. I wanna pray in a way that honors all life. I wanna sit down with my elders and learn about their life to be a better me. That's what I wanna be. The freedom to be an Indian wannabe. Thank you. Am I on? Oh, yes. Thank you so much for having me, everyone. It's so great to be back here at Interfaith. I have a history here, although it was many, many moons ago. And it's just Good to be back here and see so many friendly faces and people that I've known for so long. I'm going to talk to you about the medicine wheel, and I'm no expert on the medicine wheel, but I have used it in my life. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the medicine wheel and how we can use it, I think, to really heal certain aspects of our life. And when you look at the medicine wheel, you see a circle, but it's really not a circle, it's a wheel, it's moving. The medicine wheel is not static. It's constantly moving and flowing with us in our lives. And everything on the medicine wheel has a purpose and it has energy and power that we can tap into when we need a little push in our lives. And right here in the middle is us. This is where we are, in the middle of this wheel, and our feet are planted firmly on the Mother Earth. And we can look up to the sky, and we can see Grandfather Sky, Grandmother Moon, and the universe. And we're connected through this. And then beyond the center, we have the directions, the four directions, the north, the east, the south, the west. And each direction has an energy to it. For example, in the east represents new beginnings, new ideas. It's where the sun comes up, right? And most religions in the world have some sort of a connection with the east, and it's a spiritual connection. So in the east, we have energies of our spiritual purpose. In the south represents our emotions. And let me just say that there's many different interpretations of the medicine wheel, and what I'm telling you is just mine. I have a shamanic mentor that I work with, and she comes from a South American tradition. So some of her ideas and representations of the directions are a little different from mine, but this is what I use. And then in the West is where we go, we call for our physical needs. And in the North is our mental needs. So you can see we got the spiritual, the emotional, the physical, the mental. The medicine wheel encompasses all of this. And in each direction, we also call upon animal spirits to help us. And I use the animal spirits to send my voice out to these energies in these directions. Starting in the east, and we always go in a clockwise direction when we're talking about the medicine wheel or any Native American practice, because if you imagine yourself standing in the northern hemisphere looking down, the sun moves in a clockwise direction. And so we always move in a clockwise direction so that we honor that cycle of life that we are all a part of. So I'll start in the east, and in the east, like I said, it's new beginnings, it's new birth, new ideas. My grandchildren are in the east. New ideas, full of energy, full of hope. And also in the east, so I live in Richmond, Virginia right now. I'm from this area, but I live in Richmond, Virginia. And a couple years ago, I bought 10 acres of wooded property in South Central Virginia. And this, when you talk about tobacco country and cotton, this is the heart of it down there. And when I bought the land, I was walking through the property and I discovered a forgotten slave cemetery. Slave and also sharecropper cemetery. And I knew it was because there was only these triangle stones placed at the head and the foot of the grave, because it was illegal for them to be literate. So inscribing anything on a stone would have meant probably death, or just it would have been bad. So they put these stones on, but the interesting thing about this is, and the reason I tell you this story is because all of the bodies are placed facing the east. Their feet are in the east and the heads are in the west. And the idea behind that is from their Christian belief that at the second coming of Christ, Christ would raise them from the grave and they would always already be facing the east. So you can see, even in Christianity and in so many other faiths, the east is important for spiritual growth and development and transformation. And for the east, I use the animal of the eagle, because the eagle flies high. And in the Lakota tradition, when we are praying, we use the sacred chanupa, or the pipe. And we put all of our prayers into the tobacco of this pipe. And our prayers come from our heart. And when we smoke, we take the tobacco in and we blow it out. And our prayers go in the smoke up into the sky. And the eagle grabs those prayers and takes us right to Tankashila, grandfather, or Wakantanka, the great mystery. So I use the eagle as the messenger. When I stand in the east and I'm calling out my prayers, I ask the eagle to carry my prayers for me. And then when we go to the south, the place of our emotions, this is our connection to family. Because, let's face it, emotions, both good and bad, are in our families, right? But not just our immediate families, our church families, our community families. And I call upon the wolf to carry my messages regarding emotions, and specifically the male and the female wolf, and the way they communicate with each other. There's a chant we used to do in the sweat lodge. It's actually, I try not to use this word sweat lodge. It's actually called an anipi ceremony. There's a chant we used to do in the anipi, where the she-wolf would call out, whoa, 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 and the male wolf would answer, ya, 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 ya. And it was this bonding, this communication, and that's why I choose to use the wolf to carry my voice when I am in emotional need of healing. And then we go to the West, and in the West, it's our physical needs, our physical bodies. It's where our ego is, right? The West is also associated with death and new beginnings. And I'm not necessarily talking about physical death. It can be physical death. I feel like I've been courted by death. I'm sure many of you have. And those energies come from the West. And when you think about it, it makes sense, because from the Plains tribes, the storms would roll in from the West, right? And that's where these big thunderstorms would come from. And in the metaphysical circles, storms represent confusion and fear. I mean, if it's a tornado coming at you, that's fear, right? So, but also with the storms is the rain and the cleansing. So in the West, we can die. There's a saying in the Lakota, it's a good day to die. And we tend to think of that as being, part of a warrior, something a warrior does. He's not afraid to die in battle. But it's more than that. It's a good day to reinvent ourselves, to let the old die off so that we can be reborn in the East. In the West, there's death. The autumn, when the leaves fall, things die. And in the East, there's the new beginning. And in the West, I choose to use the bear to send my messages. The bear is the solar plexus chakra, right? The power, the strength, that gut feeling you get. And it's powerful, it's strong. So I call upon the bear to send my voice to the West. And then in the North, that's our mental, where the mental energies that we need can be found. And in the North, there's also our spirit guides, our teachers, the wise ones with the white beard, right? Abraham Lincoln used to say that he would appeal to the angels of his better nature. And when I appeal to the ancestors, I am appealing to the ancestors of light, those who have attained a certain level to where I know that I can trust the advice. They're my angels of light, the angels of my better nature. So also with the North and this mental aspect, I use the whale as the messenger. And the whale is an ancient creature. They've been on this planet for so long. They have seen so much. They know the history of this world and this planet. And there are those, if you've heard of the Akashic records, it's a metaphysical concept that we have part of our soul is that there's these records of everything that we've ever done, everything we've learned, everything we've experienced. And the Akashic records are said to be kept by the whale. And so I call upon the whale because I also believe that as we incarnate into these bodies that we're in right now, we have a soul contract that we came into this world with. So if you're in a place in your life where you're not really sure which direction I should go, what is the choice? What choice should I make? You can look to the north and send your voice to the north and say, what is my soul contract? What is this saying about me and my life and what I'm supposed to be learning in this? And then, of course, you have the ground, you have the earth. That's part of the directions too. And, the Native American, the indigenous people call this the Great Turtle Island. So it makes sense that I would call out to the turtle for anything associated with the earth. And then in the sky, we have, sometimes there's the sky and then the universe, 7 directions, but I just use the 6. And that's where I call out to Tankashila, which is the word for a grandfather, or Wakantanka, which is great mystery, right? Because it's a mystery. Nobody really knows. We don't know. It's a mystery, so it seems like a very appropriate name to me. Okay, so that's wonderful. A lot of symbolism, animal stuff, that's great. But you're probably saying to yourself, Steve, how does this work for me? How can I use this energy and this powerful ancient symbol to help me get through my life? I'm going to be very honest with you, very honest. I've been going through, over the last, this year, since December, I've been going through what a lot of people call the dark night of the soul, right? And a lot of you have heard of that. A lot of you know what that is. It's something, it's usually triggered by some sort of trauma, something very shocking to your whole being, and you end up riding this roller coaster to where, you're at a high and you feel very confident in your faith, in your spirituality, in your practice, and then you go into this low where nothing makes sense and you're questioning everything. And I know normally when you invite a speaker to come here and speak to you, you expect this person to have some sort of authority on what they're speaking about. And I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm just telling you. But the medicine wheel has helped me. And I want to share that message with you today because about 2 weeks ago, I'm thinking to myself, I got to go to Interfaith. I agreed to do this talk. And right now I'm in a low. I don't have anything to say. What do I have to say? And almost in that asking the question brought the answer was that this is what I talk about. Because I then went to my mentor, shamanic mentor, and she says, just talk from your heart. And we're going to use the medicine wheel to help you right now. So here's what we did. And you can do this too. I encourage you. If you're trying to figure things out in your life, go out in nature Pick 4 stones, one for each direction. Pick it up, hold it, ask it for permission. Will you be part of my medicine wheel? And I do this when I make my flutes. I go out in the woods and I grab a branch and I'll ask it, will you give me your voice? Will the tree give me its voice so that I can make a flute out of this? And sometimes they say no. I'm quite comfortable here on the ground. Please put me down, thank you. Sometimes they just want to be held for a while, and that's okay. And sometimes they'll say, yes, I'll be part of your medicine wheel or your flute. So pick those stones and ask them what direction they want to be in. And then you can build yourself a very simple medicine wheel. You can do it outside, you can do it in your house, but give yourself a lot of room, maybe 6-8 feet apart, and place the stones in the direction. Set sacred space. And you know how to do that. You've done that. Set sacred space and make it a place where you can really connect. And then what my teacher had me do was to do a walking meditation in the center of this medicine wheel. And when a direction spoke to me, I stopped. And I prayed and I listened. So I'm in my medicine wheel and I'm struggling. And I stopped in the south and I called out to the south. Wakantanka, imasiyapi tacha ishakib ashtima, wahi, hoye wayingte mitaki o bwaniktelo. And that translates, I stood in the south and I said, calling out to the wolf and the energies of the south, I said, it's me, sleeps my deer. And I'm standing here before you. And I'm going to pray. And I'm going to send my voice out. And please hear my prayers. And then I listened. And the voice that came back to me said, when you're in this space, when you're in this low place, when you're feeling alone, lonely, sad, reach out to your family. Because your family will get you through it. And it doesn't necessarily mean that I need to spill my guts to my family about whatever's going on. I can do that, and they're wonderful about helping me, but it just means just be with your family. Call up my grandchildren or my mom and rely on your family. All right, that's good stuff. So then I walked some more, and I walked and I listened. And then I was called to stand in the west. And I called out to Bear, Mato, unshilaye, Bear, come to me. And I said, what message do you have for me in the west? And I saw the clouds, the storm clouds, and I felt the storms coming, and I knew that there were storms in my life. And the voice said, don't be afraid of the storms. You know this. You're always taken care of. How many times do we have to go through this? You don't have to worry all the time. But I do worry. I'm a really good worrier. I'm probably the best worrier. I don't know. I could be in the Olympics of worrying. But I was also reminded that with the storm comes the cleansing. And it reminded me that I am being cleansed. Thank you. It reminded me that I am being cleansed. So then I moved on and I did some more meditation, and I stopped in the north. And in the north, the message that I got was that, yes, you're going through hard times, but this is just like tunnel vision of what's really going on in your life. What's really going on? There's all this other stuff, and it's part of your life contract, and it's part, there's other people involved, and just spend time meditating on not so much what's happening to me, but what is going on in the bigger picture from way up here. So that's how I used the medicine wheel, and it pulled me out of that that low that I was in, pulled me out of that hole, and I came here energized and excited to share my story with all of you. And I hope that you'll find a way to use it in your life. And just real quickly, I hope to see you all at my concert on Friday. It's going to be different from this. It's about my spiritual journey from a Midwest farm boy to Buddhism to indigenous. It's all over the board. But I hope to see you there. Thank you all so much. Thank you.